No countdown, no nothing. I'm just gonna jump right into everything and get it all set up, and I'm gonna have to turn down my speaker. I'm hoping I don't got. Come on. See, I should have waited. I should have checked everything before I got in, but I just wanted to jump in because I was so excited. What was that? If you or were on my channel, you know what my take on was it, but that was an absolute madness game. The first 65 minutes, the absolute horror that was. We went 220 minutes without a shot on goal, with only one shot on goal. And I was not looking like things were going to be positive. And then all of a sudden, it changed. The circumstances changed. I've given my opinion on why I thought that was, but I'm looking to hear from everybody else. Look, I don't know where you're watching on this. It's going to be streaming all over the place. I can see that it's on 4 of my different channels. It's on Twitter, elsewhere. And so wherever you're watching, it could be the local pundit, it could be on Two Beards Wrexham, it could be Racecourse Ramble or the Welsh Beast, wherever it is. Feel free, and thank you for whoever's throwing out the sponsorships on whatever channel. It looks like it could be mine, and I am appreciative of that. So come in and chat with us. There's a link on Twitter. If you search for at the Red Horde, you'll find it. If you search for after 90 minutes, you will find it. If in the description on the Red Horde below, you'll find it. Click on that and come and join, and I will add it momentarily to the chat. But what I want to do is get somebody else in so I can have a breath after whatever. And so I've got, I can't even tell because I see it says Up the Town. And so I'm trying to look at who this is. I'm going to trust. It's all.
Oh, yeah, what's up, buddy?
From the Up the Town podcast. Yeah. How are you, man?
Good, man. How are you? I need to turn my brightness on this thing down. Hold on. I look like I'm in a sun-filled paradise, and that is not the case right now.
Hey, we haven't chatted, man. Haven't connected, but I'm glad you decided to throw yourself in on this one. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got an invite, and it's always easier to do something when you're talking to somebody else than doing, a podcast. And life's been really busy this year, and I'm trying to really get back into doing things and getting back out there. So
yeah, good, because I mean I'm all for people do their own thing, and if people love Wrexham, they're going to find people that they love to spend their time with, and the stories that they tell, and the people that they meet. And so yeah. I've certainly appreciated your stuff. So it's nice to hear that you're getting back at it. That's awesome. You watched this one?
Yes. I've been watching lately. Yeah, it's been a frustrating. It's been a very frustrating, like up and down roller coaster season. It feels like, but we're in second, and I think it's because we were so good last year and just absolutely used to dominating teams and scoring 4, 5, 6 goals a match. That's been a little bit different to get used to.
Yeah. And I've been questioning exactly that same thing. The issue that I've been having is tactically. I've been left wanting, and sometimes it's effort related. I've been left wanting. That wasn't the circumstance. I didn't think the effort was lacking today. To me, this was a tactical instruction for the first 65 minutes. And holy, people are throwing around the subscription gifts like crazy. And so thank you for that. I am, or somebody else is, racking them up. Because I don't know, because it's coming from Stream Elements. So anybody who's doing it, appreciate that. Go and like and subscribe, everybody. Up the Town, what's your @ so that people can go there and check out where you're at?
It's at Up the Town Show. It should be everywhere. Pretty simple. I actually started doing a little show with my 4-year-old son now, just a little adding it. It's called like Daddy and Christian's Wrexham Journey. Awesome. He's totally has no clue what's going on. He watches like 5 minutes of the match, but he likes to sit and do the show, and we talk about it for like 5 minutes. And then, but it'll be interesting to keep doing this, right? As he gets like 5 and 6, and you see like the intelligence level go up. It'll be fun to do.
I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and my 4-year-old is not a football guy. I'm taking him to dance class here in a moment, but my 2-year-old is all for it, so it'll be probably something. So I'll definitely catch that. I do want to grab Josh because he's a frequent contributor to the whole process, and the three of us can have a chat. I don't know if you've chatted with Josh over at the local pundit, but let's go ahead and bring him in here. And I kind of want somebody else to tell me what they thought about that first half, and if they were raging as hard as I was. Josh, summarize that as best as you can.
Hey, nice to meet you, Paul. Good to see you, Sean. Jesus, summarize that. Well, I totally cracked my knuckle. Holy God, on the 100th goal. The first half was absolutely frustrating. It was one of those a lot of head and hand moments, but it's like, what are we doing? It's like, we're going to let this slip away. Gio getting the yellow card. I was like, oh crap, here we go again. And then I thought we battled back and we kind of figured it out. I didn't care how we won the match. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't sexy, but we came and we my hand is throbbing. We came and we took care of it. And like I said, I do not care how it happened. And we had Mansfield taking a dump on themselves today is also very interesting.
Well, they got smacked.
Yeah, they got right. Yeah, they got smacked up. Yeah. So I'll take it. Whatever way it's going to go, I'll take it. Well, you guys that was it on your end.
I said during the stream that was the worst performance I had seen in the first half by any two clubs since I've started watching the games. The first 60 minutes of that on both sides was absolutely atrocious. And it was because both sides were throwing the ball up just recklessly, cross the fingers, pucker the butt, and hope something lands on their foot.
We were gonna play a drinking game when we mentioned long ball, and we would all have been hammered.
It has to be tactical because there were opportunities for Max to advance the ball on the right hand side, and he wouldn't go to the obvious person in the midfield. He was shooting it up the pitch, and I was I want to go back and see it, but I felt like I was just raging for the first 60 minutes, and that goal that happened. As much as yay, Mullen, you got your 100th, and yay, we scored an important game. That was Elliot Lee.
Yeah,
that goal was 100%. And it wasn't. And even before that all happened, that was him over at the midfield stripe saying, "Stuff this long ball, not losing control of this." He beat two man spinning around the corner, like tornadoed himself through, came up with the ball and advanced it forward. And I was like, "That's where we have the quality." To take on to people. We pay for that quality. Wrexham does. That's fair enough. But we have the quality. Use the damn shit. Yeah. And so that's why and then it busted open. So
they showed who they are and we showed who we are, which we don't always do. So, but I think Barnum was the cross, right, Paul?
I think.
He also had a really, I don't know if you noticed a little bit later in the match, like he also had a beautiful little touch in to Cannon in the box and it got away. Yeah. But it was for me, I said this on just kind of tweeting through the match. I thought Barnett for the longest period of time was the best player on the pitch for us. He was very consistent in defense. He was making great tackles. He was putting good balls, and he was running consistently. And then all of a sudden, it was like the 65th minute happened, and Cannon remembered we were playing a match and became an absolute monster. And then to your credit, also Lee also. Just just changed the match. I mean, he was flying up and down the pitch. He looked a lot fresher than I think I've seen him. He's looked slow and a little kind of like lethargic, a little bit kind of like Palmer looked to me at the end of last season. I think Lee's looked at the end of this season. But it was great. It was great to see them fresh and really hitting it and finally getting over that road hump a little bit.
It's like I lately looked in the crowd and he's like, "Oh, the one I love is here. She came or he came." He's like, "I gotta play now." You step it up a little. It's like one of those like an '80s movie. I heard the music come on. It's like, "Oh, we gotta play this game now. Let's do it." Yeah.
I'm gonna came in a minute before we scored, so she only saw the good stuff. So that means you can't be away from watching any other time. The downside for me is, the whole rally cap. You've got your hat on backwards. Did you spin that partway through the game, or did you start your game like that?
I always go back. I always go backwards. But I mean, if you wanted it off like this,
I got called into pulling out the toque.
Oh, you did.
And so it happened right after, and I was like, that sucks because now I'm going to be wearing a toque for every.
I went and peed when Clear scored, so I mean, I missed it. I literally went. I was like, I got to pee before I come do this, and I ran down. And as soon as I did, I could hear the TV. I was like, I knew I was going to miss something as soon as that happened.
Yeah. I got Sheldon lurking in the background, so let's add him. And by the way, I've got to go grab the link so that everybody can log in here. I might grab Sheldon and he can do his introduction while I go and do that. So
everything's up on my end.
Local pundit down below, the red horde down below. You can click on it. I'll add it to the chat here in a moment so that if you're on Twitter, you can find it. Sheldon Bazinga, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, we got it done.
You're either repeating everything twice or it's just echoed perfectly, and I'm not certain exactly what happened there. Okay.
No, I did it.
Tell us what, you watched that. Get into it. I know what you're going to say because I said it on my channel that if Sheldon's over the local pundit and talking about it, he's saying exactly this. But go ahead and tell us what you thought about that.
Look, it wasn't a great match, but we did get it done. We looked better in the second half as usual. We got up for the game and pulled it out. I ended up actually missing the third goal. Had to go and deal with something in the house, and then came back, and we were 2-1 up. And I was like, hey.
I think we're starting to figure out that
lovely
maybe
header.
you and I both need to like miss time at the end because we both missed that goal. So I think we're starting to see a trend.
So this is what it is. It's M has to watch the entire game. Josh needs his hat backwards. You need to be in the bog. You need to be dealing with whatever you're dealing with in the house, and I'll wear a damn toque, and we are going to go undefeated for the next 50 years.
And I even got reprimanded by the missus because he was cussing too much because he was like, "No effing long ball," So that has to also, to get us these last 4 games.
As glorious as it was, can we talk about the tactics in the first half? Because it's got to be coming from Parkey. This isn't the players thinking that's the opportunity.
Yeah.
Part of me was, is it because the pitch was such crap? It didn't look bad. Like the first half, what was the highlight of the first half? Let's run around the room. If you have a highlight from the first half, I'll tell you what I think it was, and it's so sad that it was the highlight for me. But did you have a highlight in the first half? My notes, I had 2 things written down. Evans getting a yellow card and Mendy hurting himself.
Mendy, Jesus! Mine was the whistle.
Not losing a goal.
The highlight
the ref was consistently shit at least.
Yeah,
consistent. So that's why I don't mind if it's shit if it's consistent. Yeah. For me, the highlight was the pass that went to Mendy, down that Cameron, that close to camera side down the left side. Tom O'Connor, beautiful pass down the wing, and it was that moment I realized 2 things. God, we can pass beautifully when we really want to, and we're not thumping it down the field. And 2, the pitch ain't that shit. Because that ball was perfectly weighted down that side, and I went, "Why are we still doing the thumping over top then?" Because I thought maybe it was pitch concerns.
It was so perfect that it pulled his hamstring, and he'll
so
be
perfect. And he's done for the season.
Yeah. I'll give you a secondary kind of thought there. My thing was where Mullen was wide open in space, and the ball hit the pitch and just kind of died and went an awkward way. And when he tried to hit that first touch, it just stopped. Yeah. So there, I think it was really. I think the pitch was shit, sticky. But it also depended. It was sticky. It depended on where I think you were on which side and when and kind of where. Because sometimes you're right, the ball would be played beautifully. But that for me was like the highlight of the first half because you were kind of just sitting here going, like, is this going to be like how it's going to be, right? Like we're going to do pretty shit and just not and be real close. And we did, right? Like we had a couple plays. What you're saying with Mendy and then there with Mullen, where we could have been up 1 or 2-0 at halftime, even not playing great, and we weren't. And then once they scored, you're kind of thinking back, and you're just like, are we really going to go through this shit again? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Thankfully,
when you talk about that ball stop, and I think you both just mentioned it for Mullen, it stopped the ground, and his foot stepped on it. I'm like, oh, that's you can easily roll your ankle that very, very easily. For sure.
Here's a question with the pitch, though, okay? Going into this, the weather is crap and hoof long balls, and they're going to go everywhere with the wind, or you have a bad pitch. So what do you do? Look, I still say play it. It was sticky, it was bubbly. That's going to happen. You just have to pay attention to the ball and not assume that it goes exactly where it looks like it's going to go. Chase it down, play old school soccer. Like people play soccer on the beach. What do we do when we're playing on the beach? We watch where the bloody ball is. It's not that difficult.
Also, the linesman, whatever mental gymnastics that went through them to try to like move the pitch like here to there, trying to figure out what was going on there. I was like, I don't know what they tried to do. I know they shrunk it. They
shrunk it and had to rearrange the lines and everything, but somehow they shrunk it and moved it
forward.
And it twisted. They shrunk it, move it forward, and they twisted it. So.
It looked like there was a glitch in the Matrix when you looked at that pitch. You're just like, oh, what? It almost, like when your screen gets like really fucked up and it's off, like there's like something's wrong with the pixels. And that's what it looked like. And you just were scratching your head. And then like it was like beach on like one of the end lines, like the closest one to the camera did look like a beach.
Yeah. And Sean, you're talking about the tactics. You could see, you said they're definitely told to put that long ball in because Max kept whatever he adjusted at some point. Max was still trying to lump long, and he was like in between two minds and threw. And he was like, I want to go long here, but then oh no, I'm not supposed to. And then he went short and had a couple bad passes up there.
Yeah, I was Max. What a game.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the ball on his foot so much. EOC was great defensively and support. He had his other man at arms, Cleworth and O'Connor there to assist. But Cleworth had the ball at his feet enough that he was just the source of so many balls going forward. I didn't like that a lot of them were hoof balls. But then he goes up and he opens his account, at least in league play, where he pulls ninja. Sneaks in through four guys and just all the way through. So what do we talk about with this one? Because that first half, 220 something minutes, I'd like to go and do the calculations where we went with only one shot on goal.
Yeah. Well, Gio was not doing. They weren't doing Gio any favors there. He was getting the ball without anything to do. Normally it's really good 1-2 touch, but he kept getting the ball. No one was showing for him that first half. And I think that's kind of what happened. And then maybe Mendy. I don't want anyone to get injured. Maybe him getting hurt and adjustments might have helped out a little bit just by figuring it out. It only took us 60 minutes to do it, but geez, and a goal. But I don't know.
Well, so I've got Ivan that's logged in here, and I'm just going to keep loading people in because we're usually getting pretty experienced with not talking over each other. But we do also want, there's 191 concurrent that are already logged in from wherever you guys are there. Come in and join, hit the link at the bottom, the local pundit, wherever, and love to have you for a chat. And I'm just going to grab Ivan here, who I'm sure he's got a. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know if you had him. I can send him a link if you already have him on there. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no. I got you guys. What's up? What's up?
Ivan, so was that Jekyll and Hyde for you? Did you survive through the half? I'm curious. I was worried about your heart and your everything and how things were going.
Brother, that first half was just disgusting. I was Josh saw me. I was losing it. I do not understand why we have to step on the same landmine over and over again. I'm just so happy we won because it did not look that way for most of the game.
Yeah,
we kept each other off the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Josh, if you take over, because I'm working on the magic number table because I want to look at some things here. So if you just take over for 5 minutes, and we'll go ahead here. Yep. Yeah,
let's get to. Yeah, we were trying to save each other from punching each other in the face. But taking a minute. But there. Let's get it. I'll get some of the chat here. Max moved to do the same goals scored as Dalby. What do we think about Dalby not being on the bench? What do we think of the actual putting it in the lineup, making those changes? What are your thoughts there? We go out of the room about him going in and making those changes. No? Yes? Anyone?
No. Who starts?
Yeah,
you go.
Yeah,
you start. You asked. So now you start.
Right now, I was. Right. So no, I personally think that not having Dolby there was a good decision. I would have liked to see Merritt on a little bit earlier, to be honest. The subs were again a little bit too late. Me and you were screaming for the subs for quite a while before they actually happened. But luckily, it all turned out the way it did. The fact that yes, the pitch and the weather equalized the teams a little bit. It's at the same time we did have to bring faster players on sooner to capitalize on that speed advantage. Bolton, Marriott, they have good pace, and especially when we were losing, getting them on. Speeding up the game, moving the ball a little bit faster, it just all made sense. And I think that Dolby was given enough chances, and now it's time to use the depth, to use the bench for the remainder of the season, because we don't want to lose anybody to injuries. Like, for example, what happened to Mendy today, that was very predictable. He was fragile over the last few games, and people were saying that he's very tired. So now he's out for the rest of the season, most likely.
Dalby for me is just, he's been he's kind of looked like he's had his head in the clouds all season. I mean, his touch has been off, his finishing's been off. I mean, last year he looked very, dangerous. But even if you go to last season, right? Like, think about the miss against Notts County that he had. in that match that if he converts, you know, we don't have, you know, the incredible save at the end. Now it took some drama, but there has been, like, if you look and go back and kind of take out how he was, you know, helpful for us last season, there were kind of some warning signs there. But if you look at this season, I mean, it's just I don't know where his head's at, but I mean, I feel like you have to, you know, have somebody else that can provide quality on the bench. Obviously, Fletcher and Palmer are kind of the yang to Mullen and Jang anyway, and Dalby just for whatever reason this season hasn't done it.
You think Bazinga? Do you think that having Fletch on there? I mean, I didn't think he had the best game, but you know, having Fletch partner up with him. I mean, the first half, like you finished.
I don't like Fletch coming on to start. He only had the one game against Barrow where he got on early and he got on the end of everything. But every other time where he has started, he hasn't looked on it. And I said this before, I think it's because the defenders are fresh. They can chase him down, they can get close to him, and when he makes these nice touches, they're quick enough to get on them. Whereas when he comes on as the super sub, they're tired, they're slower, and he can get those lovely balls in around them. He can pull down the ball, hold up the players, and get a pass off. So yeah, I don't like that. I have been on the Marriott train as well. Get Marriott and Mullen on. I don't care if they don't really work amazingly together. Figure it out. Figure out the midfield. Figure out the other players that can get the balls to them and change our style if we have to. But I know he's not going to do it. It's the end of the season now. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. But yeah, I don't like Fletcher being on first.
And I think if you have Marriott, sorry.
No, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
I think with Marriott, right, like you have to play, and I think everybody's, you know, agrees with this. Our you know, style has been, you know, punting it kind of up, and you have either Fletcher or Palmer kind of, you know, either possess it, bring it down. You have to play on the ground a lot more with those two, but I think they create havoc, right? Yeah, maybe they don't play great, but just say, hey, listen, if you like, make sure you guys are both on the same side and just run the channels. Because if you have people like Cannon and Lee who can find you, I mean, that can tear a whole back line up. And then you bring on a Palmer or a Fletcher who can bruise you in the last 15 minutes. To your point, right, like when they're beat up, you basically run them to death for an entire match. And then you bring on somebody who can absolutely just pound you over the top. It changes the style then. It keeps them guessing. And I feel like the one frustrating thing with Parkey this season is there's been too much – like, you got to give him credit, right? We won the league last year. We're in second place this season. Like, I think there's frustration because we see where we're going, not necessarily where we are. Yep. And I think the frustrating thing with Parkey is he doesn't change the style of going, all right, look, we right, Palmer, Fletcher, they're interchangeable. You don't see Mullen. There's no interchanging with Mullen, right? Like, why do we not go speed with speed and always consistently try and play over the top?
Blown in my mind. Yeah, going like I'm screaming out for JM and Mullen to be on at the same time. And going into the lineup, you know, we saw everyone was calling for Lee to sit down for a bit. Yes, he did come on. When he finally came on, yes, it wasn't perfect, but it looked like he had a little bit more pep in his step. I know, Ivan, you had mentioned too, like seeing Gio want to keep the ball on the ground, but you think the rest that Lee got, even if it's a mental, like, hey, I'm taken off for a minute, coming on, I think that changed his mentality. And I thought it was not a big call not a big call, but I thought it was the right call going into it. But it didn't change the first half.
I think Lee was almost asking for a little bit of a time off because he looked visibly tired, and it's more of a mental fatigue. He's the correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the guy who played the most minutes this season in all competitions. He deserves a break. He just literally deserves a break. And unfortunately, he had to step in a bit earlier than he probably hoped for. But look, today he played really well, and he did take the initiative, and he did make a difference. We've been talking about it for many hours. The fact that we don't have a plan B, we don't have a plan C, and we barely have a plan A. We rely on individual performances of the players, and when things don't go according to the way we want them to go, we are struggling. And the hoof ball starts, and those lofty balls behind the defenders start. And quite often when we see Palmer playing, he is not doing the job of a hold-up forward, and if he was, he would have had a ton of assists this year, or secondary assists. and he doesn't, because that's what hold up forward does. He receives assists and he doesn't. So we need to spice it up a little bit. There should be variety, there should be options, and we don't have those.
Two Beard says, I think he redeemed himself today, talking about elite, great second half efforts. Yeah, I think he did too. I think he looked good on.
He saved it. I'll go as far as to say he was the individual who turned that game around on that simple one play. We had absolutely nothing until he was able to spin that ball and say, I'm not letting you guys take it away from me. I'm not going to hoof it down the field. He beat 2 defenders, ended up getting it over to McLean, and away we went off to the races. And that's what I was waiting for, was somebody to grab it by the scruff of the neck and show some magic. And to me, that's what he did. And it ended up being like, when we see the highlights of Mullen's 100th goal in a Wrexham jersey, we're going to look at the cross and we're going to look at the finish. You've got to, I hope they show the rewind button of that whole thing building up, because it was beautiful to watch. It was beautiful. Yeah. It wasn't cannon level goal from goal of the month in March, but it was hungrier and dirtier and more needed. And that, for that reason, it deserves all the love it can get.
We only had like one break in the first half. We had one nice, I call it break. We had one break in the first half. We had a good passage play. The rest was just like a disaster. Do we want to talk about their goal? About their goal?
I want to talk about this and how nightmarish this is going to be for me.
Go ahead.
The power of the toque.
Oh, I don't know what that.
Because I'm going to be wearing this damn thing every.
Oh no! What if it's just in the background, Sean, and it can be seen? Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make like a GIF or something and just stick it on like an overlay and just have it sit like that. That's what we're gonna end up doing.
Or you can get like one of those like heads and just put it on. Just get a head there.
I wanted to go back to Hugh's comment just while we were there, just because he said to me, and I was thinking the same thing. He says this comment, and there's some background to it. MK have to play Doncaster. Doncaster had their magic number at 1, and they've been beating the tar out of everybody.
MK doesn't play Doncaster.
Oh,
MK Dons is 3. No, they have 3 matches left. Mansfield at home, Harrogate Town away, and Sutton United at home.
Thank you for that.
Because they have a game in hand. Mansfield and us both have 4 games left. And
because what I wanted to say is Doncaster was eliminated today, even despite their win. The magic number, the sunset has folded. Thank God for those playoff teams, because they don't have to play a rolling Donny team, but they're done as of today. So
I'll tell you, it's scary, the Crawley Town score.
Well, is it scary? But also Mansfield's kind of been on the down. I mean, if you look the last kind of 4 or 5 weeks, their string of results over the last 6 or 7 is not great. And it wasn't great before we played them, if you look at their last 5. So it is scary because they thumped them. But I think you also have to look at the aspect that Mansfield's kind of form has been down. But we play Crawley at home, though, so that helps a lot because we're a different team.
Yeah.
3 of the next 4 of ours are at home.
Yeah, that's what I was just reading right there. But John just said, Mansfield have 5 left. We have 4, 3 at home, right? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Mansfield have 2 and 3 at home as well. Their only away is MK Dons.
Yeah. Oh my God. Them dropping to 4th today from 2nd. That's gotta hurt. That really is.
That whole game is going to be fascinating, and the interesting part of it's on the 13th, so we're not going to be able to watch it together. I wish that we could somehow get that early morning game from the 20th moved over to the 13th next weekend, so we can eyes on that one. Because that's going to go a long way to decide how the final picture actually looks, right?
What's the Tuesday fixture list look like? Is it just
so Tuesdays Barrows up against at home to Bradford City. Wrexham, we've got obviously home to Crawley Town. Mansfield Town is at home to Forest Green, and Stockport is away to Colchester. So they're repeating the same thing. Just for that, everybody who's not aware, we Josh at the local pundit and others, we're going to probably look to cover those games on the 16th because we're not playing, and also on the 20th because we've got the ridiculous early morning game for us on the West Coast. We're going to try and cover that and then follow all of the other games. So we're going to be around with neutral watch party. So whatever clinch scenarios are, we're going to be able to follow along. So click subscribe on his channel, mine, follow along, join, go up to town and hit subscribe over there as well.
Do it all together.
Somebody had something. Sheldon, go ahead.
Yeah, Mansfield MK Dons is going to be a massive match because no matter which way that comes out, someone is losing points to us. And obviously right now they're both behind us. So that could be really huge.
A draw would be really nice in that match.
Yes, of course, yeah.
As long as we win, a draw and a win by us is huge.
Yeah. And then the Mansfield versus FGR, they're no guarantee either, FGR. And I know we have them in our second game coming up as well. They're another team that is beatable, but is no guarantee. So nobody has it very easily.
We actually have the toughest road in the last four because we play Forest Green, who are bottom, but then we play Crawley Town 7th, Crew 6th, Stockport 1st.
That's why we got to stock up the points now.
We have now. The good thing is that we only have one away, which is Crew, but we definitely have the hardest run in between the three of us kind of vying for that last spot, or to make sure that we're in.
Crew will now be a bust by the time we play them.
Mm-hmm.
I think their season will be done. They'll be sitting in the playoffs without any chance of winning, I believe. Would be my guess by the time they get to us. They can't reach the top. Their magic number for auto promotion, that bubble now sits at 6. And so you've got a loss by them and a win by the Dons or us, not just the Dons, would eliminate them. So if they're not done by Tuesday, they're probably done by Saturday. Yeah.
But they've got stuff to play for though, because they are only what I think.
They're prepping for the playoffs. They won't play. They won't. They're taking the foot right off. We're getting the B team.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope.
So Stuart asked the question.
Stuart asked the question, so I always want to do it. You've got 2 Americans on the channel, but the other one's a Canadian. Then you got a Finn and you got a Kiwi. Or at least I don't know if it's if Ivan, if born and raised, or if you hold a Kiwi passport, it doesn't
I'm
matter.
Not a fan.
But well, you're not. But that's where you are, right?
You are now.
The only passport I have right now is Kiwi passport.
There you go. So and the answer for I think most of us have plans to go over, have had plans to go over, have gone over multiple times, have gone over. So yeah, that's it. But I don't have anything.
Yeah, I've been to Wrexham many times. Already.
I'm there on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I am the fake Wrexham fan because I have not been.
I'm at the quality match.
Yeah. Well, my wife is pregnant with our third and due in July, so I'm not allowed to do anything right now outside of work travel. So, or else I will be severely kicked in the bollocks. But I'm looking at the league table, and Crew might have to play a little bit because if you look at the league table, Walsall has 62 points, Crew's at 67, but they have a game in hand.
Yeah,
so if they win, they're only 2 points behind. Yeah, so it depends on some results where they, by the time we play them, I mean, obviously they could be comfortable, they could be still fighting, if they lose, they could drop out potentially. So
it's 10 points to make it up.
No, I'm talking about in the playoff spot, not.
No.
I'm talking. They're technically, with the game in hand, if Walsall win, they're only 2 points ahead of them for a playoff spot. So they can't take their foot completely off the gas because they're not fully comfortable in the playoffs just yet.
That's fair. Their magic number is still 11 to try and wind this thing down. Crew Alexander can get a maximum of 79 points. Walsall's behind them with the game in hand and can get to a maximum of 77. So yes, there's certainly. It's possible that all weeds itself out by the end of this. We'll see how it goes. It's certainly is Stockport winning the league. Yes,
probably.
I can't.
Stockport fan in there too. Stuart Ryan. Oh God, don't even think about it. I don't even want to do it.
Oh, I don't have a problem. Why would I give 2 craps? We got promoted. If we get promoted,
I agree.
I don't give 2 craps.
Yeah,
we will be one of only, I think it's 6 teams since 2002 that ended up doing the back-to-back promotion. No team's done back-to-back, by the way.
I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't give a shit about winning the league again until you get to the Premier League. Because as long as you finish in the top 3, who cares? That's literally you want to win the league, but I'd rather finish and get promoted. Then the next time where you really want that trophy where you're going to give a shit is get to the Premier League and then go win that thing.
Yeah, why not?
And even at that, get into the top 4 at least to start. And I know we're talking way out. But let's just keep moving up, right? Like I think next year is going to be an interesting season.
what was this one here? Wrexham should
Yeah,
sell
and-
virtual tickets. They put a camera and a mic and a
Yeah.
seating position in the stands.
It-
That would be creative, actually. Go ahead, Sheldon.
That's kind of what we're doing here, aren't we?
If we win the next two, we could actually be auto promoted as well before even bothering about crew and Stockport.
Correct.
You need a lot of help for that to happen
so-
mathematically, but it's possible, yes.
A lot of math.
Yeah,
Lot of
not a
math
not a ridiculous amount.
You win two, because you've got Mansfield sitting at 88 points. I guess not a lot, because you're right. If Mansfield jumps up, they've just got to step over top of MK and have them struggle. MK's only got 3 games left. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's our magic
And-
number? 82? 83?
What's our
Our
projected
magic number.
point?
What's our magic? Yeah, 8. We think it's
no.
82.
No. It's 50.
5, right?
It's 13 in the sense that you're not just looking at the number of points that you need to get to eliminate people, right?
Yeah.
Them losing. Right now, we're projected to get to 83 points, and
Yep.
Mansfield's projected to get to 82, and MK Dons is 80. So I don't know how you
Mansfield
calculate.
82.
So they're-
That's
So they're saying that Dons is going to lose to Mansfield at home, which, if you look at the current run of form, that doesn't look likely.
Well, that's the projected max, just using what you've collected over the season based on the number of games that you've played, and because the MK Dons have played 2 extra games, their projected max is below. They don't look at the run of form on that's just a straight mathematical calculation.
So their max they can get is 83 right now.
MK
That's
Dons
their
max that they can get
max
is
they can
83. If we get to 83 points, it doesn't matter what happens to anybody else, because that's MK Dons is
Right.
the highest. If we can get, so what is that? That's we're 7 points away.
So we need 7 out of the next 12 points.
2. Yeah.
2 wins and a draw.
2 wins and a draw, and it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
but
what happens elsewhere.
But then a couple of draws on the others around us, and that's it done as well with
Correct.
2 wins.
Yeah.
So,
You were right, Sheldon. On going through the math there, that's
Dons and Mansfield drawing would be perfect, because
Yes.
that would make MK Dons,
Keep both
their
of them.
max would be 81, and then Mansfield's max would be what wouldn't matter. It's going to matter more about Dons than Mansfield. So if that's 81, then our magic number goes to 5. And if we win the next 2, that's the thing. If Mansfield and Dons draw and we win the next 2, we're automatically up just from that. If you look at the math real quick, right?
Yeah.
Because we're looking at Dons and their max points. That's what matters the most.
yeah. I mean, Barrow could change things up a little bit and make it extend by an extra point or an extra day, but it's looking good, and I still can't believe, because I was sitting at the 60th minute, just screaming obscenities, and I think I actually did curse quite a bit during the watch party this time.
Oh, yeah.
Slap the wrists. It was, I'm just shocked that this is where we're at. Hey, just a message to everybody that's here. We still got 261 people. We're building up. I'm probably going to have to sign out and go off, Josh. I'm going to probably hand the keys off to you as long as you want to go.
Sure.
I'll just be on my phone,
Sure.
driving around and doing things and setting it off, and maybe joining occasionally. But if you want to come in and chat with anybody here, with all of us, with the world, just join up. The link's down below. I'll put it into the message here one more time. And
I
go
can't
through
do the messages. But Sheldon, are you in through the local pundit, or no? Did you go through how did you get in?
no, I went through the normal link for the after
You did?
90 link.
Okay. Yes, I can't.
I'll
I don't think I can.
I'll send you some messages about the housekeeping side of things, because it might have to get creative, but we'll figure that out as we go through.
I got
Anything
about
else?
a half
That we
hour. So
I had the 52nd minute. I don't even have to worry about this. I'd like to go back and maybe pull it to end up showing the demonstration of what is wrong with Wrexham. And Sheldon, you were looking at doing that. The long ball versus the work through the middle. That 52nd minute, you had those back-to-back long balls from Kluwer that went and Lee that went forward. That I was just like, both outcomes were the exact definition of what isn't what I think you refer to as positive football. And it was exactly 10 minutes later that Lee did his thing. So was there any moment in there that during the game that you got exceptionally frustrated by that we haven't gone over, or do we even care about the frustration and just celebrate we got the 3 points and carry on?
ooh, that's the
Yeah.
I'm giving it to Ivan.
Consider.
I put that
At this
on
stage-
I never do this, but I'm going to do it.
viewership.
I don't do this, but I'm going to do it today. The pitch and the weather, I'm just going to let it slide. We won, move on.
Well done.
There's enough to pick on in the other matches. I can see Ivan's face going even redder, but I'll occasionally give them one.
No, look, I completely agree with you. The game was torture. We won. That's what counts right now. I really love all your calculations and prognosis about everything else that's going to happen. One game at a time.
Yeah.
You eat the elephant one piece at a time. Win the next game, rinse, repeat. Yeah, it's like that. One game at a time.
Yeah.
One game at a time.
I agree, Ivan. You are perfectly correct. The only thing I will say is with discussions like this, we also like to discuss the other side of it, which is if we do nothing and everybody else fucks up, we still win. So sometimes it's nice to talk about that and look at those options, and not just say, well, it doesn't matter, let's not talk about it. So
I get it. No, it's very entertaining. I enjoyed listening to that. I'm just saying that my mind is just like I win, move on, win, move on.
We've got Hugh here to end up joining and adding, and I just want to say before that the Marriott stuff, that header that he almost had from 6 inches to a foot away. I thought that when he came in, he still looks like he has something. I know he didn't score, but lots of people have said he hasn't opened his account. He's overrated. Anything like that. What did you guys think about Marriott's run out?
I think for me, Marriott's got it all in him. I think next year is going to be a blistering year for him. You could see it in his legs. He's eager. He's hungry. I like him in Bolton. I really do. I don't care that they haven't. I care that he hasn't scored, but I like him. You could see it. He's in there. And if for God's sakes he would play Mulls and him together, I think we would change the entire team. But he's never going to do it. But I think he's great.
Yes.
Yeah, he has danger written all over him. You see his movement. You see his speed. He will cause defenses absolute nightmares. And if you put him and Mullen on together, what are the defenders going to do? Who are they going to chase? Who are they going to double team? It's just going to make openings all over the front, all over the defensive area. So, yeah, I just hope he gets the chance because he was only on an 18-month contract. So he needs to be re-signed next January or he's going to be gone. So what I'm hoping for is a nice summer rest and then back into the team, show his legs, link up with the new players that come in the summer, and then come in as a first team up the front with some people passing to him that are playing a style that suits him. Because there's no point playing him and having him up there if you're not going to get the ball to him. And we've been saying this as well. So they need to figure it out. He's a great player, but if Parky won't play a style that suits him, then he shouldn't be here. And it's horrible for him to be chasing a ball around like a little dog, and you never allow him to keep it.
Sorry, I just wanted to cut off only because I've got 10 minutes here and I wanted to get Hugh in. And then I'm going to pass this off to Josh here to control things and push the matter forward. And so Hugh has thoughts. I think he got upset with something we said and said, and let's see what he's got. Hugh's shaking his head. What do you got for us?
Nothing I'm upset with. Okay. No, it's been a great day, hasn't it? I mean, when they scored, I thought, "Oh, that's it now. Oh, we've had it now." But that was the biggest part of the game. I didn't watch that game at all. I was only listening, but the commentary is so good. I can picture everything. And as soon as that goal went in, we just flicked the switch.
Yep.
The players, especially Cannon and McLean, they were the ones that drove it. But obviously Mullen got one, did he? And Cleworth got the winner. So, but as
Josh,
soon as that goal went, they thought we can't have this. We've got to win, and they just went for it, and they dominated the rest of the game.
Hugh, do you normally wear your hat backwards, or was that the superstitious thing?
I'm just. This is the standard way to wear a cap on this. On the local pundits anyway.
I love it.
So, I mean, Josh has got it, and then everybody else. I think Ivan was doing it yesterday, but he's turned it around today. But I think Ruby Slippers is wearing a backward cap as well. But I've got a red one. You see, it's actually mine says 1872. Actually, there was a period when the Supporters Trust was running the club, and we did, because we had handle on all the information of the club. We were looking to see. We didn't think the date of the establishment of the club was 1873, which had been used for a very long time, 1873. And we suddenly found evidence that it was, there was play in 1872. So we changed the establishment date to 1872. But then somebody else, because it had been changed, they checked some records and they found a book that said we'd started playing in 1864. So this cap has become redundant, really, but I've still got it. It's a bit silly, really. But it's an 1872 cap. This was the mid-period between when we changed the establishment date of the club. The reason why there was sort of ambiguity about the establishment of the club, the dates of the establishment club, because there was a fire in the turf, one of the buildings of the turf. There was a fire in the 1930s, which burnt a lot of records of the club. But somebody found a book in which a Yorkshireman had come to Wrexham. And he was in Wrexham, and he was one of the founding members in 1864. Anyway, that's history again. I like a bit of history, but I think so history was played today, as well. I mean, that goal that Akinde, he did us a favour actually. Akinde scored that goal, and they just in quite a few players, something clicked inside their heads and said, "Parky's going to kill us when we get in, so we got to score 2 now," and they did it. Eventually,
I was hoping they would have woken up a little bit early. It took them a whole 15 minutes, 20 minutes of game time, just enough to really upset me. Like, as I was getting to the end of my tether, going to the 60th.
Well, to be honest,
at the end of the day, it don't matter.
I agree. I mean, it's terrible, isn't it? But I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I'm used to loads of games like that have happened. But the thing was, we found what the problem was, and I think Ivan was fairly close to it. We were talking about tactics and stuff. No, it's not tactics. They're not putting the maximum effort to try and get a goal. They've been playing a long season. They've had a real downer period in January, February. Players injured and losing 3-1 to Salford. That was a disgrace. That was a rubbish game. Hoofball, the cool game. But now they've got the right team out there, but they were doing okay. But they had a goal in. They thought it can't have it like that. And they turn the switch sometimes in somebody's head. It's turned, and they've Cannon and McLean. They're pretty fiery guys, those two. So I think they helped a lot today. But it's so great that they've got those 3 points. We need a couple, another 6, maybe another 7, whatever, and hopefully we can relax then. But it's been quite worrying recently. Anyway, that's my
the good news is by taking that 3 points and the scoreboard helping us out almost in all circumstances, is the window and pathway to being able to get promotion is there. And so
MK are doing well, aren't they? Though they've won the last 2. They're still there. They're 83. They haven't dropped any points the last 2 games.
Just running out of runway is the only thing, right? They lost to Stockport back on the 23rd, and now they've won 2 and drawn 1. But they've got Mansfield, and then a game. So they've got nothing, and then a game with Mansfield, and then nothing. And in the meantime, everybody else is running through options. So they'll need some help.
Gentlemen, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
I gotta go now. I gotta go.
Thanks, Ivan, for joining.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ivan. It's a pleasure to have you here as always. I'm taking over things, Josh. I imagine you're running around and trying to get through the background stuff if that email came through. And then if you got it figured out, then I'll be able to jump off and follow remotely while he controls things. Doncaster was mathematically eliminated from the playoffs today. There's no opportunity for them to make it. Doncaster.
Why is that? They won today, Sean.
Because they've got a magic number of 73, and that was auto promotion, not for the playoffs. Sorry, let me go back. No, not for the playoffs. They've got 9. Sorry, they were eliminated from auto promotion. I was looking at the wrong one. So they've got 9 points left that they can get to. So 73. So they're still very much into it. Mansfield, Barrow, Crew, Crawley sitting at 65, but they'd have to go on a massive run, make up 8 points, and get some help, but it's still doable. They're still in it. How scary would they be in a playoff match right now? Can you imagine being the fourth place team that falls out of the top 3 and you've got to end up pulling them?
After today, don't even think about that because I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, I don't think it's going to happen either. They would have to go on a complete undefeated run almost.
But you wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs, would you?
Everybody else end up losing, so it's unlikely to happen. So they have to win every game. Not quite. I think they could still technically lose one, but man, the mathematical permutations to that would be unlikely. They've got to go on a crazy run.
They're already on a crazy run.
That's what I mean. What is it? 7 undefeated? Four wins in a row, something along those lines.
5 in a row. It's 5 in a row at least.
Six in a row now. 6 in a row now. But they've won eight out of the last 5.
The projected maximum. So if you go positions 4th through 7th, that's Mansfield, Barrow, Crew, Crawley, and you look at the points, the lowest number of points that somebody's expected to grab in that area is at 73 points. So you're going to have to get to 74 if you're Doncaster. And it may be a goal differential thing. It's really, really, really difficult.
Yeah, they've done well though. They'll be set for next season. Well, let's hope we're not with them next season. And that's the main thing, because it might be difficult against them. Well, they are a club that has been. They were in League One only 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So they've got. Well, they're doing well at the moment. Anyway, but don't have to worry about them this year. It's MK. If MK drop any points now, next game. They might do, and you've got to win the next 2 though. We've got to at least get 4 of the next 6 anyway, and we might have to beat Crew or get a point to Crew. And let's hope it's not. Let's hope we don't have to get points against Stockport because they're doing well at the moment.
Just checking the chat here to see. I heard a bleep, which usually means somebody comes in.
Yeah,
Ken has joined us. So, Hugh, it's always awesome talking to you, man. I appreciate the history. I appreciate the insight. I appreciate that you keep us honest. And so, by all means, come in here. And as a matter of fact, just having Wrexhamites being able to come in and chat with all of us who are on the other side of the pond, it's much appreciated. So I'm going to bring in Ken. How are you? I see you sitting there. So let's bring you in. And Hugh, I'll let you swap out there. Appreciate that. How are you, Ken?
Yeah, good. Really good. Early. I'm in Australia, so it's 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, wow. And all the lights are on.
Tough to watch.
So I asked people who I haven't met before, and I guess I didn't do this for Paul, but I assume that's because a lot of people know his story. But with Ken, why don't you tell us what your background is with respect to Wrexham, how you ended up meeting the club, falling in love with the club, joining the club, following along, and then your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, started following the club when the National League season we didn't get promoted. But yeah, then obviously followed, hooked on it after Rob and Ryan with Disney and everything and doing the whole Welcome to Wrexham. And then been following Josh a while now and Local Pundit. We've had a few chats. It's been really good. But yeah, love the team, love what they're doing.
Perfect. And then as far as the game that you ended up seeing today, or did you watch iFollow? Do you have a subscription? Do you have a sneaky link or something in the background? How did you end up taking that one in?
No, I watch every game. I've got iFollow. It's like literally pretty hardcore because most of them are like all the weekend games are 1 a.m. or midnight. The midweek games are good. They're about 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah. And then taking that one in, what do you think?
Oh, so frustrating to watch. Like, you all say it, like just the style of football we played, sitting off, and it's like you got so much more talent than that. It's like take the game by the scruff of the neck, and just it's not going to happen this year because this is the way Parky plays. And you can't be too critical. We're in second at the moment, but it's still frustrating to watch.
Yeah, no, I had a meltdown. I'm not gonna lie. I actually it was like I'm gonna have to take a break from my watch party, and I ended up playing like an advertisement that I made in the background and just let that one run because I was like, I need to have a deep breath, and then I came back, I think, even angrier than I was when I got off in the first instance. So as far as you, the question I was going to ask, do you have plans to go ahead, make your way over to Wrexham, anything like that?
Yeah, well, not this year. I said to Josh on his show, I'm off to watch the Vegas F1 in November, so I'll be over there then. But next year, I reckon I'll get over to like Great Britain, go watch a Wrexham game, get back to London for Christmas, New Year. I love that time of year, so that's plenty of football being played that time of year too. And that should be League One too.
I'm going to take some time because I'm running out of time here with this, and so we've been chatting with Josh in the background. And so, Josh, I think the secret is what sometimes if you look up on the top right on Restream, it's going to have a little your name with the little thing there, and sometimes you have to click that and click that you're logging in as co-host or admin or whatever. And so, just check on your Restream, however you've logged in up on the top right hand corner. And it should be the email that you sent me. Go ahead and check that out. And if you get it, the only issue that I have got, guys, is I've got to blast off here in about 5 minutes or so. And so hoping that we're able to carry this through and pass the keys off. But we didn't practice this in advance, and that was my fault. And so we'll see what we can end up doing here going forward. Ken, just while we're still talking about things, as far as stuff that you noticed there, Mullen got his 100th. Lee had a great play. Was there something in particular that happened to your game that you were like, that was what we needed, or that was a change in circumstances, or anything that we maybe missed and didn't talk about?
The thing that changed our game was them scoring the goal. Like we changed the way we played. That totally changed our structure, the way we attacked the game. We then decided that we had to go take the game by the scruff of the neck, which was exactly what we needed. And, the passing that happens on that, when we start passing the ball and interacting between players better than just playing that long ball constantly, we're a totally different team.
Perfect. It was weird. I thought that there was enough delay between their goal and us tactically changing, because I didn't see a change until even the first 10 minutes of the second half. I was still raging that I was seeing the same thing for the first 10 minutes. And so it wasn't until sometime substantially after that, like it was really Lee's play where I was like, now it's changed. And it was, to me, it was the players strapping up and saying, I'm going to carry the ball and get it done. So, but I take your point, because obviously these two agree with you. And so I might be in the minority there, but I was still, maybe it was just the seething fury that was raging inside of me that I was still getting out there.
And it takes a few minutes for 4 or 5 minutes for the team to actually, for it to flow through into a visual too. Like it's happening on the pitch, but the actual manifestation of it takes that few minutes.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to ask a favor here, just because I'm going to have to run out the door, and I want to also make sure that Josh has the authority. So I've invited him to punt me. And so I'm going to just give me a second to do a little bit of a bump before we go. I've got a couple of things on the go. We'll see if we can get them over the weekend or not. We're obviously going to be back in. Josh is there for the after party. When I wait for the bump, but go out and subscribe for Paul here on Up the Town and do your thing. But we're going to be back on for the watch party. As I said, Josh and I are coordinating to end up doing the neutral watch parties, where we're going to do that on the 13th or 16th. Let me make sure. We're going to do it on the 20th for sure, because we're not playing or we've got the early morning one. So we'll be on the 20th early in the morning. I think we'll probably do that separately, and then we'll come together to end up doing the other 4 games. And on the 16th, we're going to be on doing a neutral one then. So you've got us on the 9th, you've got us on the 13th, you've got us on the 16th, the 20th, the 27th. We're all there, separate or apart. Find somebody, do your thing. And thanks for what was a little bit of a mess, but a beautiful 2-1 win, despite a whole bunch of nasty stuff in the interim. I love you guys. Have a good one. And I'll feel free to kick me.
I think you're on mute, buddy.
You're on mute. Oh, and because he's logged into the other places. See, this is why I wanted to test it, is because you want to make sure the whole thing's working. Oh, there you go. I think I got you.
All right. There we go. I hear an echo.
Now you're echo.
Because you've got the extra account open up on the background.
2.
Is that better?
Nope. You got to mute. Mute or turn your speakers down. Yeah, so we'll wait. I just want to make sure, and I appreciate that we're doing this all on the fly here. Ken,
Technology, man.
It's funny, and we should have done this a long time ago. And in fact, I did this with somebody else who is part of the group. If you're not here, usually we have some other people, and I think I just had somebody drop in. Rousey's here to fill the gap, and so why don't we go grab him while Josh is flicking around? You can certainly control things. So that
I can give you. I got some Wrexham travel advice if you guys want some.
Let's do it. Well, let's grab Rousey because we'll bring the humor in here, and Rousey can hold down the entertainment, and Ken can have a chat with him, and then we'll figure out from Josh what's going on. If as soon as he punts me, I figured
it out. I figured it out.
You figured it out. Okay, well then I'll sign out. Do I need to babysit Rousey? Nah, I love you, man. Send me out of here. Right. Much love to everybody, and go celebrate a 2-1 victory. It was a great day. All right, see you later, guys.
All right, see you, Sean. On that bombshell, he's out. I got rid of him. I did it.
Boom.
Yes. Awesome. Boom.
The whole thing didn't shut down.
No, it didn't shut down. I forget. So I'm on his channel, on my thing, on our thing. So yeah, we'll figure it out. Welcome everybody. It's good to have everyone in. As you know, we were just there. Took me about 30 minutes to figure it out. Rousey, go ahead. Welcome back in, man. What are your thoughts?
That was fantastic, wasn't it? You got to have the on the edge of your seat games. I reckon every so often. I mean, we probably didn't play so well in the first half, but I felt it was kind of the same for Colchester. But then that second half, oh boy, that was something. It was like they flicked a switch, and that Max Clearworth goal. I reckon give the boy man of the match. that was really good, and I almost thought Marriott was going to get onto a third for a moment there as well. He only just missed that goal. But
the one on the corner, from the corner, is that? Yeah.
But my God,
I thought he got pulled from behind a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, I think probably a little bit.
It looked a little sus from that.
Yeah, but what an important win that was.
Huge.
Especially with the results of the other games as well. Mansfield dropping points, which was interesting. That was a very important win because now we're clear second, and you can dream. We might get to Stockport the last game of the season. I have a funny feeling it's going to go that way, but we'll see. Crawley on Tuesday. It'll be Wednesday morning our time, I think. So notice you got another Aussie in here. Represent, yeah, boy.
We're on number. It's 2 for 2. It's 2 for 2 here.
Yeah. Rousey, I've got a funny feeling we're going to be playing Stockport for the title in the last game of the season.
How awesome would that be, though?
That'd be great.
Here's the funny, right? Like, here's the funny thing: you got Americans and Aussies sitting over here talking about a match that's in Wales. Like, the world's just such a funny place, right? Like, I guarantee you, none of us would have seen this on the bingo boards of our lives 10 years ago. And then Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney had to go make a fucking documentary and then put all this stress on us for the next lifetime. It's ridiculous. I have holes in my ceiling from last year's match against Notts County. All right, like, your fist hurt. I have this knot, and my ceiling does this up in my loft. And I jumped up when Lee scored in the 78th minute to go up 3-2. And I almost gave myself a concussion. Then jumped up again when we saved the penalty. And so there's 2 knots on there. My wife walks up and she's like, "What the fuck did you do to the ceiling?" I was just like, "Wrexham."
It's just Wrexham. It's just Wrexham.
It's Wrexham. It's fine.
It's a beautiful game for a reason. I mean, I've been following football for the best part of 30 years now, and there's no game in this world that brings the emotion out of you like football. It's just it's so good.
Absolutely.
I had a theory, and I've said this on my show before about what drives so many people to Wrexham, especially that are overseas. I think a lot of us that have loved the game for so long, we've had clubs. I've followed Man United for most of my life. I've been to Old Trafford. I've been to the FA Cup final, right? But there's a distance to the club, right? It's just kind of like if you're here in the US, you're a fan of an NFL team, it's different. With Wrexham, you feel connected, right? Like you talk to the people, people within the club even will interact with you. Wayne and I have become friends over the last couple of years of interacting. I've done shows at the Turf, and I think that's what's going to bring so many foreign people into the fold, because we feel a part. It's stuff that like people have lived in Wrexham or in Manchester, or Liverpool, all over the country for years, and they feel that tie, that we're creating that for ourselves, which I think leads to that love and the passion, that connection that we didn't always have, even though we love the game, because at least over here, MLS sucks. So, I mean, it's something for us to do.
It's not the greatest. It should have branded helmets for safety. Absolutely, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to make sure the connections are good and everything's all right. So she's all right. Yeah. Right. You guys can hear me. Everything's good to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfect.
Do probably another.
Yeah, you're perfect.
All right. Cool. All right. So what else we had to talk about? So we talked about. We missed Rousey. You missed a little bit earlier on talking about the goals, man of the match, and things like that. And I wanted to bring up the fact, Mendy getting hurt, leaving him out for the rest of the season probably. We got enough cover back there. Or you think going into the Crawley match, which is all that matters? Somebody put it in the chat there. You think that's a big loss?
I think the proof is in the pudding. Mendy went off injured. We played on.
Yeah.
So we've got more than enough cover for those positions anyway. So that would be one position I would never really worry too much about. But yeah, the proof is in the pudding in that one. So we'll be fine without him. Yeah. Mendy, I hope you get better soon.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that's him done now. We won't be playing a game for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think he's gone. MLS is garbage, says Rob Evans.
Look what I started.
Yeah, look what you started. It's just everything's just going downhill there. A2Z EV says, guys, realistically, I think if we get promoted to League One, we should consolidate our position there before we attempt to go up, and because the championship football hurts club finances. I think that will be a consolidation. That's something to talk about for the summer for sure. What's wrong with the MLS? I mean, where do we start? Where do we start?
Anything if you heard the saying, anything can happen in football, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a common thing. Anything really does happen in football. The strangest things happen, but saying all these what ifs, should we do this or should we do that, you're just not going to know until you get there and start playing, because you never know. We could go up and start playing and have an absolute blinder of a season and go up again, or we might just miss out, be at the bottom of the ladder and have to do that. But you can't really say what you should and shouldn't do until you're actually in it and playing it, and you're just not going to know. So
I think the summer will be telling for sure. But you want to kick it, stay in the game. We can. The midfield for me, like I said, going into the game, I really like seeing Gio and Stash I think Stash at the back he's good, but having two guys in the middle of the park, we didn't control it, and talking those tactics like going to long balls. Yes, it's frustrating, but turning around that second half, I think it shows grit, and I think it shows that we can definitely go up for sure, which is fine. But like going to next year's will be great. But what do you think Parky's thinking in his head? Just continuing to stick with his guns.
Well,
you talk about formation wise?
Yeah.
I mean,
we're in second place and we won the league last year.
Yeah.
He's taken teams to the championship playing that very same style too. So, it's a case of, does the team you have, the people and personnel you have, suit that style? I think that's the main question.
Not next year.
Yeah, maybe not. But yeah, he's taken teams to the championship before. There's no reason why he can't do it again. Whether he's got more in him to go beyond that, that's where I'll probably ask the questions.
I mean, Luton, look at Luton, just where they went in 6 years and how fast they went up. I mean, look, here's the thing. If you went and we got to the Premier League in 6 years, and just throw hypotheticals out there, and then got relegated and then came back up 4 years later, is anybody going to be really pissed? That you got there I mean, and the other thing I think from this year with Parkey and the frustration is that I think last year was just so fucking fun in so many ways. And it was right. Like it was the disappointment of the year before. It was the historic run. It was the fight with Notts County that we had. And I think that the mood was different. And then this year, everybody's a little bit more grumpy. I feel like in the fan base. But when you look up at the table, you're sitting there. We're 4 points off top and securely in second place again. And everybody, there's a big segment of the fan base that are Parkey out. And I get it. We're not winning sexy, but we're in second place, right? Look at where Notts is. They're in 16th. We could be Notts County with Longstaff that are sitting at 25 goals, even though Mullen's not having a blowout year again, sitting in 16th out of everything and no hope of the playoffs. And look at where we're at. So I get it, but a lot of people, Man United won titles playing 1-0 shit football for years too. And, you're not going to win on 111 points. So I think it's, at the end of the year and any year, if we're sitting up in the top 3 or 2, I think we have to sit about it and go, yeah, or Chelsea. Yeah, you said Chelsea. Jesus, how boring was that Chelsea squad when, especially when Jose Mourinho was there and they win every game 1-0. It was so boring.
You gotta look at it this way as well. We're everyone's cup final. Wherever we go, we're packing out the stadiums and those teams bring it up an extra gear because we are who we are. We've got that story. They want to be a part of that story and do what they can. But it comes down to we're going to be everyone's cup finals. So the fact that we're stumbling sometimes against lower league teams is because these lower league teams are not going to really get anywhere financially, are they? So they see us come to town and bring on the cash and step it up and try and be a part of the story. But so that's going to have a factor to play even next year as well. And I think our boys are used to it. So, we can sit here and criticize Parkey for his tactics and whatnot, but proof is right there. We're second in the league. We're going up again back to back. That is massive. I cannot understate how massive that is. Not a lot of teams will do that. Will go up and then go up again. Teams come up from the National League and typically do well in League Two, but to go up and then go up again is, especially automatically, is so unusual. It's really, really unusual, and we're there because of everyone on that team, including Parkey.
Yep. Differences throughout the year. Throughout the year, it's been like different players have stepped up throughout the year. Different player. It was Elliot Lee in the beginning. Then it was Fletcher in the middle of the season. Then it was Palmer coming in, and then Andy Cannon. Now it's then it was Mulls, and now it's like a collective effort. So it's good now. Max today, people have done different things to keep it moving, keep it forward. And I'm hoping that these 4 games left. And this comes back to what you were saying, Paul, earlier. It's like last year we were getting pushed by Notts County. It was just we're getting pushed. Now this year we need not only to go up, we have to find it in ourselves to go up and figure it out what's gonna push us to go and actually push not the title, at least going up on that regard. So Ken, what do you think? What do you think going into Tuesday? I think we're feeling good and positive. What do you think going into Tuesday? What do you think the team will look like? What do you think? Buzzing. What's your thoughts there? Because
I'm buzzing too. But look, ironically, these next 2 games we play teams coming off the back of Mansfield, which you'd think would be a good thing. But Crawley's just had a big win over Mansfield. They'll be their tails are up. But luckily we've got 2 home games in a row now. So I think, obviously team will basically stay unchanged. I won't be surprised to see Palmer come back in for Fletcher now.
I agree.
Fletcher won't start. Then Boyle will be back in for Mendy. Boyle will be back in at the back. I think the back 3 will come back that we've had really for the last over a month, except for today. It was funny because 2 games ago we're sort of saying, didn't see anything from McLean. He was on the wing. Today he was more involved. The ball just went more his way. It's not that he was playing bad. And right at the end of the game there in extra time, you sort of can see how much he is in terms of a team motivator. A ball went out over the goal line and he's just at the crowd, yes, we've done it. We've won. And he's that mentality that a whole team needs to get them up and get them going. And we're going to need that against Crawley because, I mean, look, if we can get the win against Crawley, big time.
So you dropped Gio? You dropped Gio?
No, because Mendy's out, so Boyle's in. And then also Fletcher out, Palmer in, and Stasher stays, Gio stays. Then you've got Lee is the only other one that might get a start. Who was playing on the other side there today? I'm having a mental blank right now.
Ryan
Barnett. So there's you got Barnett, Cannon, all those guys there. I'm happy with any of those guys on the field, to be honest, right now. I mean, the style of football we play, Parkies, you're just talking about it before. Parkies found a style of football that gets you through leagues, and teams at this level, as in opposition teams, you can rely on them sometimes. Parkies relying on them making mistakes and us capitalizing on those mistakes. Now, when they don't and they score, that's when our strategy changes, and that's when we start to look like a beautiful game, But it doesn't matter how you do it, just win.
Just win. Yeah, just win.
I think from what you were saying, like for the lineup for Tuesday, you'd probably go obviously Mendy off, McLean would probably slide into that wing position. Lee would come in, and then the team probably stays the same except for Fletcher. I'd love to see Marriott start. I think it would be great. Like that would just shock the shit out of everyone. But I think everyone probably knows, and I think everyone agrees with this. If we would beat Crawley, I think that's the match. That if we win, I think it's automatic promotion.
Well, if we win, if we beat them, if we beat Crawley, we will be 5 points clear of MK Dons with 3 games to play. So
if they draw and we win, if MK and Mansfield draw and we win the next 2, it's over. We're automatically promoted
next Saturday. Yeah.
Today's draw would have felt like a loss, and then we go and we do a job on Crawley. I feel like we're in good shape. I feel like we've been playing a little bit scared, kind of like alligator arms, like a little. We don't want to make a mistake, and obviously when you do that, you A, get hurt, or B, things don't go the right. But we're not playing free. Even Colchester at the beginning of the first half, and I think that's part of it too. We didn't even talk about it. Colchester, we're playing free. Like we had said, which one's the 3rd place team, which one's the 23rd place team. It didn't appear that way. So maybe we can do that at home on Tuesday, and I'm hoping that happens. Rosa says Marriott needs to start. Give him a chance. He's just not going to do that, unfortunately.
He's going to go with the players he trusts at the end.
Oh yeah, and that's why he went with Barnett today and not Bolt. And I thought Bolt came on and did a really great job.
Barnett's playing well though, but he from where he started and where he would get beat and physically kind of manhandled and to where he is now is incredible. I mean, his trajectory is very much on the up.
He runs great angles too. Like he runs great angles, presents great opportunities for his teammates to pass him the ball.
And he runs kind of possessed. Like he doesn't go half-assed into anything. I mean, he runs hard. And I think
reminds me of Dan James. You remind me of Dan James a bit.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's better than Dan James is.
I hope he's better than
Now, I will tell you, I wouldn't mind Wrexham getting Dan James right now. Like, he'd be a hell of a fucking get for us, to be honest with you. That would be a great get for us if we could go, from the next spot. That's a conversation for the summer.
Michael Wolf, why wouldn't he play Mullen and Merritt? I think he sees him like for like, and he likes it big and a little. I mean, I've been calling for it too. He's just not going to do it.
They're two alike in their play styles too. You need someone who has the ability to draw defenders and hold defenders up to free up space, especially tight in the box. And Mullen and Marriott are two alike. So you put Marriott with Fletcher or Marriott with Palmer. But you would do the same for Mullen as well. You put Mullen with Fletcher or Mullen with Palmer. You wouldn't put Mullen and Marriott together unless you absolutely had to.
Well, especially for the style of football that Parky plays.
Yeah.
Marriott's 5'8". Palmer's
6'3".
Yeah, 6'3", 6'4". He's a big unit. Yeah, that's he's there. Kim says Mullen and Marriott played together once and nothing happened. Yes. And Tim also says, put it this way: if Wrexham plays like they did today, they will lose to Crawley. Well, let's put that out of our heads right now. How about that? How about that? Yeah,
I think that's a bit. Ollie's 6'5", by the way.
Is he 6? He's a big. Yeah,
He's a big dude.
I disagree with what Kim said a little bit because, like, playing at home is different, right? Like Crawley's not going to play the same way. The pitch. Like, think about it. If you play the same way and we play our pitch at home, we're probably up 1-0 at halftime because that ball to Mullen hits smoothly, goes on the pitch, and he's got a 1v1 with the goal, and he's probably scoring, right? Like, you got to think about like those little things. Like, yes, like there was nuances to this game that didn't look great, but there was nuances to this game that was weather. Why the fuck were there 1,700 million balloons on the pitch all the time? It seemed like when at key times. Right? Yeah. Like, there was little pieces there, and yes, we have to step it up. But like, everyone's at this position of the season is beat up. They're not fully fit. They're slowing down. Everyone they're going to have good matches. Look at Mansfield. Mansfield was like cream of the crop, and now the last 6-7 games they peaked at the wrong time. And I don't really think Wrexham is fully peaked at all. We're consistent. I don't think we've peaked yet. And if we can peak the next 4 games, look, 3 out of the 4 at home, you can win all 4.
We peaked for about 10 minutes today, not won the game. That's fine with me.
That's the terrifying part about this team, right? Like, all this team has to do is peak for 25 minutes of a match, and they win.
Yeah. Somebody looked in the crowd. It's like, oh, there's people around. I gotta show up. Let's go and play. Yeah. Sorry, Ken. What were you saying?
Well, didn't we beat Crawley 1-0 at their place with 10 men last time? Pretty sure we did, wasn't it?
Different part of the season, but yeah, I'm sure.
It's like, but the thing is, you like, I was saying, we're on for 25 minutes and we can score 3 goals just like that. But also, like, and we're talking before about our squad, who we're going to play. We've got choices. Like, Mansfield are on tilt. They have their squad, and that's it. They've got injured players, even though they've got games in hand. I really think they're not going to make it. I think it's going to be us, Stockport, and MK Dons.
Yeah.
I think MK Dons going to beat them this weekend.
I hope they do too. I got about 5 or 10 minutes left, just on my end. But like I said, trying to figure out this whole system. So if I'm like looking around like an idiot, it's because I'm trying to figure out the system here. Well, let's go out on a high note then. Let's talk about Mullen and his 100th goal. I know we mentioned it earlier today. Him coming back after getting injured. He's been delivering. Obviously, not his best game today, but 100th goal for him, that's insane, right? He's been fantastic.
100 goals in 3 years, that's good going. That is good going. And Mullen just does Mullen things, doesn't he? I don't know. You can't fault the bloke. He's just Mullen, He's just Mullen. I think we're very insanely lucky to have him. Road from Titanic.
Yeah. I got about 5 minutes left, Bazinga. So, but I'll bring you back in for that too. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
What?
I said I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I do not know, mate. I'm lost in thought now. It's really late here. Really late, but it's been a long day.
Mullen 100 goals, he's literally got, what do we got? We got four games. Yeah, 4 games left for the season. He could get another 5 goals, end up on 105, which is unbelievable. Like you said, in 3 years, it's just, people just don't probably realise how much quality that actually is in any league. Any league to score that many goals.
Would you rather Paul Mullen or Erling Haaland?
Well, we know who's going to try harder.
That's not even close. I don't think. Like, I'm going to go. I hate
Mullen
City, but I'm going Erling Haaland all day.
Yeah. What would he do in playing for getting the service that they would get up in Pep's team? It'd be insane. But conversation for my EAFC career mode. Sheldon, what's going on? We were just going to talk about the 100 here for Mulls. Thoughts there?
Yeah, let's see him do it in League One, which will be interesting. But we just need a strategy to get the ball to him. Like, when is Mullen ever getting a tap in? No, a couple of
Not this year.
easy-ish headers,
No.
but he's not getting tap-ins. Nobody's rolling the ball into open space with a goalie stuck on his post. You know, it's not happening. He should be scoring more if the team was giving it to him.
Closest tap in was that cross that he had this last game that he put in, just pinged in. That was his first goal last week. That's probably as closest to a quote unquote tap in as you can probably think.
The disallowed one?
No. The goal he had, I think it was Andy Cannon's cross, and he just pinged one in. I think it was his first goal the other day at 98.
Oh yeah, the long cross along the ground.
Yeah,
that
along
he
the
just
ground.
tapped in. Yeah,
that's the closest thing to a tap in he's had. Closest thing.
Yeah, Sheldon. The only way he gets tap ins is if we buy a couple of other players in the off season, and Parky decides he wants to play a totally different game of football.
Yeah. Andy says, "I hope this game will give us momentum in the final stretch." And Kim also says, Holland is paid more per week than the entire Wrexham team. Yeah, absolutely. And that's not even on the books. What they're paying him off the books, how to get him there. Yeah. So, all right, let's go around the horn real quick. Last thoughts and shout out to what you're doing. Paul, welcome to the group. Obviously, you want to give a shout out to what you're doing out there, and we can wrap it up.
Yeah, sure. So for those who don't know, I do Up the Town podcast, which is fun. I've been doing it a little bit more lately. Been out of it. The entrepreneur life is a struggle. It's real. Final thoughts on the game. Excited for the 3 points. All to play for. Win the next 2. I think we're going up. It's really exciting that we're in this position again, and I hope that we have a lot of fun over the next 4 weeks and can see, more promotion, and then we can debate the manager and the squad and all that shit when the summer hits.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll do more together. And obviously, go follow them on Up the Town. You and I connected. You want to get into the Discord? Come into our Discord. We got a bunch of people in there too. So happy to come in. And it's good to meet you. And
same here.
Go support Up the Town, Paul. It's good to bring you on, man. We'll do more stuff. All right.
I appreciate it.
All right. I'm starting knocking people out here. See you soon. Okay. Ken, obviously you come on TLP, but happy to have you on here for the after 90s and everything too. So final thoughts, and then thoughts going into the next week, and go from there. And if you have anything going on, you tell us right now.
Look, back from holidays, so back at home now, so I got a decent internet connection.
Yes.
But, no thoughts. Ugly win today. Win's a win. Full stop. Big game this Tuesday against Crawley Town. So looking forward to that. Hoping to see a good Wrexham team hit the pitch this Wednesday, playing good football.
Well, guess who's at the game? Sheldon's at the game, so he's going to be doing some stuff for us too there. Awesome. All right, Ken, good to see you. We'll see you in the Discord for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Talk soon. Rousey,
what up?
Going on?
Oh, geez, it's been a whirlwind of a week. A lot of things going on, especially with the podcast. You probably heard we signed to the Sport Social Podcast Network.
Congrats.
Cheers, man. But just a lot going on around that, getting all that in place and set up. It was a lot of work, especially changing platforms and setting up everything with worldwide money transfers, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a full-on week, but one worth celebrating. And this win today just topped that all off, and I'm over the moon right now. So,
congrats, man! Hard work pays off.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's a very big platform. They've got the official Man City podcast on there, and they're Europe's largest podcast network. So fingers crossed it's onwards and upwards from here, and me and Adrian can achieve our dreams and get to Wrexham.
Awesome.
I think that's the next step for us, is getting over there, and I think it'll be a hoot.
Well, that's great, man. Well, obviously, great support, and I think we follow each other, and we'll definitely keep an eye out for you, man. It's good to have you on as well. And congrats.
Yeah, man. Always happy to support you guys. I love what you guys do. I think bringing more eyes to the club is a brilliant thing. All support, all love. We're all one. We're all part of the same team. So
it's fantastic.
Happy to
It's really
support
good.
if I can.
Us too, man. Us too. It's good. And it's very good to meet you. I don't think we've ever actually formally met. So, and obviously, Shell. But yeah, it's good to meet you. And congrats on the new. And we'll keep an eye out for you, and we'll see what's going on for the next time on your podcast as well. All right.
All righty. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Get some rest.
Yeah.
Get some rest.
Yeah.
And then my man Shell. Final. By the way, hold on. Massive win, WrexleMania tonight. Wake that ass up, Sheldon. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So my big one is next Tuesday. I am over in Wrexham. I'm going to be heading around the town again and maybe do some interviews with some Wrexhamites, go into coffee shops and bars and see what they think maybe. And I am hoping to meet some of the players as they arrive for the match. So we may be doing something interesting on that for a little pre-game warm-up on Josh's channel. So if you're interested in seeing some live footage from the match before it starts, come join us because we will be doing something interesting at least.
Absolutely. You got to connect with the Matt, Al, and Stace, I'm sure. And, you and I will talk. So that's good, Bill. We'll be keeping an eye out for it. That's awesome. You going to be watching WrestleMania?
I might do so. I might.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good. Hugh says he's going to be around the ground too. So you guys can connect for sure.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
All right, man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right. That is Sheldon. Okay. It is just my dumb face here left. And yes, I want to do that real quick. Sorry. Okay. Hugh. We'll talk soon, Hugh. Good to see you. Okay, so expected to see an ugly draw, but then they got the ugly win. Wrexham still with the 4-leaf clover approach to games. Yes. So, and Kim also says, so Sheldon will be the lucky charm for Tuesday. Absolutely. So, all right. So it was an interesting game today, obviously, but we got the W. And apologize. The after 90, we did about a 90-minute one here. Sean at the Red Horde and I connected with the rest of the guys up to town and Two Beards, and we put this together. We passed the keys over, so it's fun to kind of figure it out on the fly. So I apologize if there's any glitches or anything. But great win today, lots of fun. Post 90s, great for everybody. Really, really enjoyed it. This is just a lot of fun to do. So cheers, everyone. Up to town, says Michael Koss. Let's see what else you got to go on here. I need to, before I end the stream, I need to figure out how to do that because I never touched this stuff before. But it's all very good. So yes, go support, go like, share, subscribe to the Welsh Beast, to Dazzle as well, Two Beards, Racecourse Ramble, Sean at the Red Horde. Smash a like on all of them. Get involved in all their chats, and also subscribe. Like I said, everyone's kind of coming there doing some fun stuff. Everyone does a lot of individual stuff, but everyone comes together. I think it's indicative exactly what Wrexham is all about. So full support, full win today. Parkinson, Dolchin Fauer, Josh, Hugh, I think that says goodbye in Welsh. I think so. But go support everyone's channels, and this is a lot of fun. Like I said, Mullen got his 100th today. We got the W, and on the local pundit, I will be doing the Wrexham reaction probably tomorrow. That'll be live. Maybe something later on today if I get a bug up my butt to do that. I know Red Horde does things. Does a lot of content, and so does the Racecourse Ramble and other podcasts as well. So, all right, lots of fun. I'm going to get out of here. This has been great. If I push I'm push this next button, and it'll shut it down and end the stream. So on